Hello! Welcome and welcome back. Today we're talking about Full Moon, the second installment of the Dresden Files series. The first part of this video is going to be spoiler-free, but we're going to have some spoiler talk later, and I'll give you plenty of warning. Let me start off by saying that I enjoyed Full Moon a lot more than I enjoyed Stormfront, the first installment of the Dresden Files. I found Stormfront to be very mid. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Exactly down the middle, exactly lukewarm for me. And though I enjoyed Full Moon a lot more, there were parts of Full Moon that were infuriating, and immensely infuriating. Almost made me want to put down the book, almost made me want to not continue on with the series. But at times, Full Moon was a really fun adventure. I was almost going to rate it 4 out of 5 stars until one character in particular really ruined the reading experience for me. One thing is for certain after finishing the second installment of the Dresden Files. I will continue on. I had definitely planned on reading at least the first 6 installments of the series before deciding to put it down for good. And after reading Stormfront, I was pretty sure I might end up not continuing on with the series after the first 6 installments. But after reading Full Moon, even though I have conflicting feelings about it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy the next 4 installments as long as some things change. There are some things I'm willing to put up with, some negative things that I'm willing to overlook for some amount of time. But I can't see me dealing with the issues that I have with certain aspects of this series if they don't develop into something worthwhile later. And I'll get into that more towards the spoiler part of the video. I like how the characters are getting more fleshed out in the second installment of the series. I like how we're getting some more info about Harry Dresden's past, about his backstory, about his family, about previous relationships. It definitely helps build empathy between the reader and the protagonist. I like how some characters that were seeming quite flat are becoming quite dynamic in the second installment. There was even a romantic pairing that I didn't see coming. And the intensity of this romantic pairing caught me very much off guard, but I think it was pulled off very well. There were a lot of funny scenes in Full Moon that made me laugh out loud. The dialogue was very colorful, very witty. I liked the banter between the characters. I enjoyed that aspect a lot. This is not really a spoiler, but the plot of Full Moon is centered around werewolves, and I love me some werewolf fiction. I find werewolf fiction in general pretty compelling and pretty interesting because it makes the reader ask certain questions. Questions like, what is the line that divides man and beast? And what does a man have to do to become something truly monstrous? Are humans truly better than beasts? And are humans benefiting from cutting ourselves off from our more primal nature? Questions like that. I think that these common questions and common themes that are prevalent in werewolf fiction paired very well with the inner turmoil that Harry Dresden, our protagonist, is experiencing throughout Full Moon. Harry is in constant war with himself because one part of him wants to use magic to do the right thing in the wrong way. But he's aware that magic can really twist somebody. It can make them do catastrophically evil things. And Harry is aware that magic can turn a normal person into a monster. And it just paired very well with the whole werewolf story. Full Moon has several antagonists. And not only are they in conflict with Harry Dresden, they are in conflict with each other. And it creates a pretty confusing, pretty twist and turny type read. And I found myself surprised by several of the twists and turns that Jim Butcher put inside the book. Full Moon has a lot of great things going for it. I enjoyed it immensely. But there was one aspect in particular that bugged me immensely, I found very infuriating, that made me almost want to put it down. And it's, many of our characters have middle school levels of emotional intelligence, and they seem to be incapable of seeing the big picture, which was just frustrating, infuriating, and hard to believe because these are adults. These are characters that solve crimes. These are characters that are used to dealing with consequences and conflict, and they don't deal with those things very well in Full Moon. It was very hard to believe. If emotionally constipated characters was not a big pet peeve of mine, I could see how Full Moon could have easily been rated 4 out of 5 stars for me. But because of this big central issue, I just gave it probably 3.5 out of 5 stars again, even though I enjoyed it a lot more at times than Stormfront. Now, let's get into some spoiler talk in 3, 2, 1. Murphy is not a good cop. She's not a good friend. She is quite evil. She's very immature. She does things wrong, and she should honestly be in jail. And the fact that Harry Dresden, lovable Harry Dresden, a very fun, likable protagonist, refuses to hold her accountable and insists on taking the blame for all of her misdeeds on himself, bugged me immensely. I almost put the book down at like a third of the way through because she's just a ridiculous character. Not only does she arrest Harry without getting his side of the story, knowing that he has saved her life. She doesn't give him the benefit of the doubt. She doesn't trust him even though he saved her life, even though she knows there's things he can't tell her. And she seems to not be, but she doesn't seem to have an issue with keeping secrets from Harry Dresden. She knows, and she kind of sits on this information for a while, that if she does not solve the crime, the mystery of these murders, she's probably going to lose her job. But also, Harry's probably going to be arrested. And she keeps this from Harry for some time, as if those consequences aren't in any way equal. She knows that Harry is not in cahoots with Marconi, but she lets her fellow police officers go along with believing that, and it leads to tension with Harry. She knows that working at the police department is Harry Dresden's main way of earning an income, but instead she lets a personal grudge keep Harry Dresden from being able to provide for himself. She's icing him out. And then she makes him promise to not keep secrets, to be honest with her. While in the next chapter, keeping secrets from him and not being honest with him. I mean, he has saved her life. And when she arrests him later in the book, which really infuriated me, she has him handcuffed, she starts to beat him. That's not legal. You're going to say it's bad that Harry's a liar, but you're going to use police brutality to punish him? Really bugged me. And then, towards the halfway point, towards the 66% point of the book, she leads a charge against a monster that only she has protection against. Only she has silver that could hurt the monster. But she leads all these police officers to get slaughtered. And then she has the audacity to say, Harry, go in my office, stay away from things. The whole reason you're alive is because he told you how to protect yourself against this monster. So you're willing to trust his advice. You're willing to trust his advice, but you're not willing to trust him. And then I could overlook all this if Harry would have held her accountable. But instead, he's like, I got all these people killed. Oh, Murphy's such a good cop. She's just doing the right thing. She's not a good cop. She did not do the right thing. She got her partner killed, got a bunch of people killed, and almost got you killed, and she arrested you, and she's the reason you got shot. Just a horrible character. And I just wish Harry would hold her accountable, but he never does, and that's infuriating. I know I said that I think Harry and Murphy should end up together, but after reading Full Moon, I kind of just want her to disappear. I kind of hope she gets killed, and even if Harry blames himself for her death, I would be okay with that, because she's a bad character, and she ruined the reading experience for me. She needs to have some very big character development for me to like this character, because right now, she's a dirty cop who gets people killed and blames Harry for everything. And at the end of all this, after getting all these people killed, she basically gets promoted, she gets more job security, she gets a plaque on the wall, she faces no consequences, besides people dying around her and a broken arm. It just doesn't seem fair. But that's enough about Murphy. Obviously I hate her, but there's other spoilers I want to talk about. Particularly the Susan Harry romance. I wasn't expecting that to get me emotionally invested. I was kind of expecting it just to remain a situationship, to remain a relationship where they're using each other. But Susan is kind of growing into a very dynamic character. She does illegal things to protect Harry. She obviously cares about him. She's willing to kind of put her job and her safety in jeopardy to protect him. And she's given him love that I wasn't expecting him to get so soon in the series. I expect she's going to get killed off later in the series, or the relationship's not going to pan out, but I'm very much emotionally invested in this romantic pairing. I really did enjoy that romantic dynamic, but far and away my favorite aspect of Full Moon was Tara West as a character. She was very interesting. She was very compelling. She's very blunt. She's very funny. And I found the intrigue and mystery surrounding her background and her motivations to be the most riveting part of the narrative. And I think Jim Butcher did a very good job at tying off her little character arc in this book in a way that was emotionally cathartic and very satisfying. I was not anticipating in a book about werewolves there would be a werehuman, a wolf that turns into a human, which explained a lot of her obliviousness to human nature throughout the book. It was one of those little plot twists that made perfect sense, that made me feel stupid but not insulted at the end. It was just pulled off very well by Jim Butcher. The scene that made me laugh out loud is when Harry Dresden says this very colorful insult to Tara West, and the part of the book that made me laugh out loud is when they're in the car and Harry Dresden says a very colorful, many-worded insult to Tara West that just had me rolling. And that, let me read it real quick. Put some clothes on, you weird, yellow-eyed, table-dancing, werewolf-training, cryptic, stare me right in the eyes and don't even blink wench. And Tara West, she's not angry, she's not insulted. That'd be a very human response. She just laughs at him because animals, use aggression to check each other. And that's the first time that Harry's kind of speaking Tara West's language. And I thought that was just a nice, funny scene. Had me laughing out loud. That was very funny. I like that throughout the entirety of Full Moon. Harry's trying to use some nuance when interacting with Tara West. And she's never picking up what he's laying down. She's not able to read between the lines because she's not human. It makes sense why she's so dense, and it makes sense why she reacted to this playful aggression from Harry in such a funny way. Very nice touch by Jim Butcher. I really do hope that Tara West makes a reappearance in later installments in the series. Fingers crossed. But more than anything, I just don't want Harry Dresden to end up with Murphy because I don't like her as a character. Hopefully she develops a lot or she gets killed off, but that's all I want. Don't put them together, Jim Butcher. Thank you guys for watching my book review video. I hope you liked it. Push the little thumbs up icon if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you want to hear me talk about any other books. We're reading a lot of good ones this year. Leave a comment below about what you thought about Full Moon, and I'll talk to you guys next time.